From throwing haymakers in the NHL to now on national TV throwing out hot takes. We have Paul Bissonnette talking Olympics, talking hockey. Paul, Spit and Chicklets host and former NHL player. I appreciate you coming on. How's it going?
It's going great. A lot of hot takes coming out of this mouth.
Yeah,
Maybe we call them cold takes, but they're takes certainly.
yeah. We'll
I'll
we'll
try to.
take we'll take whatever you got. Well, we'll just jump right into it. We got some game. We had a game here, Slovakia. Obviously upsets Finland 4-1. Immediate takeaways, if you had any. Obviously, and we'll get into like kind of the ring size and stuff like that, the ice size as well.
Yeah, I mean, physical, definitely a chippy game, and the Slovaks looked awesome. I mean, Slavkovsky had an incredible goal, amazing individual effort. And honestly, man, I feel bad. I'm going to try to pronounce this kid's name right, but the goaltender for Slovakia, a
Yep.
performance of a lifetime. And I got the numbers here. Elliot was just posting about it. This kid was playing in the ECHL partly this year. So you're talking about going against the best of the best from the NHL, and this Samuel Halava. And like I said, I might be butchering that name. A lot of these European names are hard, but 38 save performance. So I don't know what that upset would have paid out at the DraftKings Sportsbook, but a remarkable effort from the Slovaks. And it just speaks to the bar is being raised. It was always Canada at the top. Russia was always there, although they're not playing in the Olympics. Sweden, but USA, boom! Now they're neck and neck with Canada. You see these other countries like Slovakia, Czechia. Finland, unfortunate loss for them, but they're always strong. But the level of play has definitely been risen, regardless of the nation.
Yeah, absolutely. And obviously, the loss for Finland's bad for Group B. Any thoughts on Group B now?
Uh, I mean, it's always nice to see new blood. I think that most people thought that Finland was less of a threat without Sasha Barkov. Like that was just such a tough loss. Like you lose your number one center, a world class centerman, probably top five in the world. And as far as that, it kind of leaves it wide open now. And I'm interested to see how Finland's able to recover. But that's just a tough, devastating loss.
Well, you said it for this game, like physical, a lot of hitting. Smaller rink would probably enforce that a little bit more. Are you seeing small rink have an effect, especially after we've seen like actual ice time?
So I personally like a small rink, and I like how they have adapted to the North American size. They did, I think that most people have heard all the rumblings when they were struggling with the arena and to get it figured out. It's not as long. It is a few feet short. But I didn't even really realize it in the neutral zone. I was just more concerned about them actually finishing it and making it up to playable standards. But I think that obviously benefits the guys who are playing over in North America and the NHL. And from a viewing standpoint, when you have an Olympic sheet, there's a lot of like dead time. There's a lot of circling back where on a North American sheet, there's nowhere to escape. It makes for a more tight checking physical game and more scoring chances overall and more shots on net. So I think from a viewing standpoint, that was the way to go. Some traditionalists might not enjoy that, but for the product itself and the viewing experience, way better than the Olympic sheet. So that's kind of where I lie on that.
We're here with Paul Bissonnette, host of Spit and Chicklets podcast presented by DraftKings. We appreciate Paul coming on. What's the big storyline for you coming into this Olympics? Obviously, United States and Canada are in there. We got no Russia. What's the big storyline for you coming into this?
I would just say I mean, if you're looking at DraftKings, just how much of people are betting and believing in Canada, US. It's essentially a coin flip on the amount of betting. US is actually slightly ahead of the amount of money that's been placed on them. You're getting a little bit more juice on the states, plus 175 as we speak, where Canada is plus 125. Other storylines like now that no Finland, who would be that potential underdog to upset? I think that at plus 650, Sweden is pretty much where the rest of the money would be going. They're always strong in net. They play a well structured game. They have that mix between skill, grit, pace of play and how like the unity of the country and how familiar they are with playing with one another. So that would be another one. Um, Dreisaitl in Germany, is that
Mhm.
another team that that could put themselves as a front runner? It's hard given the fact that you have a few NHLers, and then you're dealing with guys who are playing in their respective countries and not really up to that NHL standard. But he's a beast, and he's going to drag that team into the fight, and they're a very proud country. So that is a storyline and a team that I'm kind of looking at, and just what are we going to get a Four Nations finale like we did last time? Is it going to be as aggressive given the circumstance of the double IHF officiating? So those are just a few things I'm kind of keeping an eye on, and yeah, it should be entertaining.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm just pulling up the odds real quick here. Canada's minus 475 to win Group A, and obviously United States minus 1100 to win Group C now with Germany also. You're Canadian born, right? What does Canada need to do here to, get over and win it all?
I think that hopefully they get good goaltending right out of the gate, so it doesn't become a topic of conversation. And they just need to figure out their lines and what's clicking. That's been probably their largest topic of conversation. And you find this with Team Canada all the time because you're usually putting your best. The NHL, the best players play center because they're responsible defensively. They can handle it mentally, where they have so much responsibility. But the thing is with Team Canada, all of a sudden you're, 10 of your 11 of your forwards, 12 of your forwards, in that mix, depending who's in the lineup on any given game. Where do you put those center that can't play center? Like which wing, or do they want to play their off wing? Are they comfortable on the wing? Can they adjust playing at that high level, playing wing as opposed to center? So you're playing a different position and using a lot less of your momentum where you're swinging as a centerman as opposed to stopping and starting more as a winger. So that for me is just things I'm looking at for Canada to tweak the small things to be prepared for when they get into the medal rounds, and that can always be a little tricky. And if you look at prior Olympics, Canada has always had the goaltending. They've always had a plethora of guys they can count on. Where I believe in Jordan Binnington, Stanley Cup champion, won the Four Nations. He was stellar in that final game. Has had a bit of a tough year in the NHL, but a lot of times that's a result of the team you're on and the type of chances you're giving up. So, not making excuses for him or them by any means. I think that most people has USA with stronger goaltending and a stronger defense. But once again, that's what makes our game so good, and the parity, and why there's question marks going in. Who's going to win? U.S., Canada, Sweden.
Right. And when you get into like Team USA, obviously, you got Austin Matthews and Quinn Hughes and stuff like that.
Jack
Where are
Eichel.
yeah, where are we looking at with Team USA expectations wise?
I think that they should be in the final with Canada with that roster. I go into that D. You have a good team when you're having a problem deciding should we have Quinn Hughes quarterback in our power play with four other forwards, or should it be a guy like Zach Werenski, who is that double threat where he can make plays and find seams and pass it. Great mobile defenseman who can walk the line, but he's also got a cannon. And I'm not just talking about a slap shot. His snapshot wrist shot is lethal, where below the tops of the circles, he is a scoring threat, and that's why he's got 20 goals in the NHL this year. So to have a power play where he might be playing, Quinn Hughes might be playing first unit, and the next thing you know, you're looking at another stellar four forwards with Werenski back there. There's no drop off, really, in my opinion. So U.S. so strong down the middle. You have Austin Matthews, Jack Eichel, who has proven won a Stanley Cup, incredible 200-foot game. So they are a gritty team too, and they left some very high skilled forwards. Jason Robertson, Cole Caulfield, who could put the puck in the back of the net, which seems to be a bit of a topic of conversation from a controversy standpoint for the U.S. Good problem to have, right? They went and elected with guys like JT Miller and the Trocheks, the Dogs, the guys that will be irritating any lineup they play against, but specifically the Canadian forwards. So it should be very, very interesting. And it's like I said, if you're an American, and you're looking at this US roster, you're probably saying this is the best roster on paper we've ever had going into an Olympics. And that should be a very proud place to be, given the growth of the game in the United States.
I know that all my fellow Americans are hoping for the TJ Oshie style, victory in the Winter Olympics from 2014. Do you have an official prediction for what happens here? This is gonna be interesting.
I'm hoping that the Canadians meet the Americans in the final. I think that's what everybody wants. They want that. Between Canada and the US, there's 15 million people watching it, maybe a little north of that. That is such a remarkable number. So to see that's what it was at Four Nations playing for that tournament, what it would be if they met in the Olympics. And I hope that Canada throttles them on that stage. I hope it's a 7-1 thumping so we can reestablish ourselves as the greatest hockey nation with no doubters. No doubters. And to see that there's more money right now in the United States is an insult at DraftKings Sportsbook. But just remember, if you are a little bit of a delusional American fan, don't put the house on the Americans. Just sprinkle a little bit and gamble responsibly, because it's only fun if it's for fun. And that is our DraftKings motto, especially when you're being negligent and putting all your money on the Team USA.
How many goals for Sidney Crosby do you want to bet on then?
Throughout the tournament, I'm not so concerned. But when the money is on the table and we're playing for keeps in the gold medal game, I would say Crosby's going to be good for 1-1. Our fearless leader, the gift that keeps on giving. He's been doing it 20 years, folks. Let's go, Canada.
Oh my goodness. Yikes. Hopefully, from the United States perspective, we can get a little bit something like you said, best roster we've had ever. Play a little
A
play
good
some
consolation
defense.
prize when you guys take home the silver.
The silver is going to look good. And switch gears a little bit. We'll look towards the NHL. The Rangers are in a tough spot right now. Give me your takes on the Rangers. What are we doing?
Rangers are going to be a retool team. I think that's been adamant with the second letter in what, a decade now, in less than a decade they've sent to fans. Listen, they're the New York Rangers. They will be able to sign good free agents. People want to play there. They're a first-class organization. I think that Drury will be fine. He's probably learned a few things over the course of the last 2-3 years about maybe holding your cards a little tighter to your chest, and that way you can get a better return for some of these guys they've sent out the door, and maybe the way that they've treated them on the way out the door. I think that there's, Trouba was probably not happy with the way things were left. I don't think Kreider was very happy with the way things are left. And, I think that is important, especially for trying to recruit new players when things maybe aren't going as well as expected. How are the players treated, especially on the way out? And as Jacob Trouba would describe it, it was a bit of a clown show. And that's why he was playing the circus music when New York Rangers traveled to Anaheim to play them recently. So that would be just my advice. And there is always a level of optimism when you have a goalie as good as Shesterkin in net. That guy could polish a turd any day of the week with how good and athletic he is in net. So at least you have your foundational piece, Rangers fans. Optimism in the pipeline.
The Devils were supposed to be good this year
Oh,
and last year and the year before, and we're just in disaster. We're in dire straits right now. What is going on at the Prudential Center in New Jersey?
I don't have any answers for you. I
No.
don't know. And I don't know if Tate McRae is, in fact, a mole for Team Canada. And I don't know. I don't know where their heads are at, or where they're definitely not going to make playoffs this year with the anticipation of this season. And I think most people having win that division, if not finishing right behind Carolina, catastrophic. And from what I'm hearing, they fumbled the Quinn Hughes move. He gets scooped up, and now you don't have the trio of the Hughes brothers, which would be that would be the best marketing plan they could have had to bring other guys in. I don't know where they go from here, and that's above my pay grade. And good luck to you and Pasha.
Would you blow it up? Maybe.
That's the thing, and where I've been going back and forth with. I don't know how many people who are listening are familiar with Pasha Eshke, who is one of our producers. my right hand man. He does all the sandbaggers for Spit and Chicklets. He's delusional and he doesn't want to blow it up. And I would definitely consider with the return you could probably get on some of these guys, but the players the players hold a lot of the cards, especially the superstars in today's game. So that would have to that's where you would probably sit down and have some very serious conversations this offseason on what's going to happen. But I would lean towards blowing it up, but who the hell am I?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you got Jack on that contract. You might as well hold on to it, see what you could do.
Or get a hell of a return for it. I don't know.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, that's true.
I'm just
Um,
a gambling expert. I'm
yeah,
not I'm not a GM.
this is not financial advice. Um, but yeah, so diving into the rest of the season, where are we? Where are we looking at? Obviously, just looking at the DraftKings odds here. You got Colorado Avalanche are plus 350 favorites. Tampa Bay Lightning plus 400. Big Tampa Bay guy, actually live in Tampa Bay. Big Tampa Bay Lightning guy. Carolina Hurricanes plus 450. Best bets prediction, like who wins it, and then who you betting on?
Not sure what the current odds are, but if you didn't sprinkle a little bit on John Cooper finally winning his first Jack Adams, which is crazy. I don't know how many people listening are aware that John Cooper, probably the most, probably the, I would say top three coaches in the world. And I would put him at the top. Coaching Team Canada now, 2 Stanley Cups, took a depleted roster this year with they were missing McDonough, they were missing Hedman. You could see this Radish guy all of a sudden what he's been able to do with him with the absence of those guys on the back end to the record they've had since that slow start is just remarkable. So he, I believe, will be bringing in his first Jack Adams. That is, I'll put my lock stamp of approval. I look
Plus
forward.
150. Plus 150. Could still get plus money on it.
That's
Come on.
crazy.
Come on.
100% the Jack Adams winner. Even if they finish 500 to the end of the season, I would have him as the Jack Adams winner with what he's dealt with. I would maybe sprinkle a little bit on the Florida Panthers sneaking in. I would assume that they are plus really good money to sneak into playoffs at this point, being about 8 points out of that wild card. Other predictions, San Jose Sharks making playoffs would be fun.
Mm-hmm.
And really seeing a few surprise teams in that Western. But the race in the East is probably what a lot of people are looking towards because you could have Florida on the outside looking in, but all of a sudden we got new blood, right? Like imagine seeing the Pittsburgh Penguins and New York Islanders playing in the first round. That would be exciting. And I don't think a lot of people had Pittsburgh making playoffs. The Islanders, a lot of people had on the outside looking in. So just some new blood in the East was one thing that I was looking forward towards.
Yeah, Sharks plus 230 and Panthers plus 250 to make the playoffs. Solid wagers there. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And remember, the saying goes, it's only fun if it's for fun with the DraftKings Sportsbook.
Absolutely, yeah. And who's your Stanley Cup prediction? Do you have one? It's tough. It's open field. Definitely pretty crowded at the top five, but
I would say the easy choice is Colorado. Some people, with the fact that they were, not great in the last 10 to 12 games before Olympic break, they might think that they peaked too early. I would look for them to make another trade and move to really solidify themselves like they did a few years ago when they won it. That would be the easiest and clear front runner. I, Edmonton. I don't know if they do anything else with goaltending. You can never count out Draisaitl and McDavid getting back to the dance. And the fact that if they didn't have Florida to look at, that would be even sweeter. It would be really fun to see if Florida wasn't in the mix, them go against another Florida team in Tampa. Mm-hmm. But I would say that to me, I can't count out those two guys getting to the final. So a rematch of the conference final when Colorado won their first cup with McKinnon would be fun because they swept Edmonton 4-0. So I would like to see a rematch of that series. It would be a lot more competitive, in my opinion.
Oilers goaltending is always so hit or miss. It's just all over the place
But they're
every
good
year.
enough where they could put me in net and get to the conference finals and or finals. So that's just how deep they are.
Yeah, absolutely. Paul, we're about like a year, like 18 months since you had that famous like fight at the restaurant. Super viral. New York Post was all over it. Is it more fun to be a media personality or a hockey player, in your opinion?
It's definitely I I I missed being in the locker room and the camaraderie and going to the rink every day and being with the boys. But the podcast has obviously been fun to recreate that and still get to shoot the with the boys. And yeah, that whole situation was pretty wild. I go eat at Houston's frequently, and I kind of just found myself in the middle of that. And yeah, definitely enjoy the other two as opposed to getting my head kicked in at Houston's in the parking lot.
Well,
That's
as
that's a,
an
that's a guarantee.
yeah, as an MMA guy myself, I'm purple belt in jiu-jitsu. I'd say you got enough hands to maybe compete in the octagon if maybe a long time ago, but
Yeah, I don't know if you've seen this nose on me. I didn't win many fights, so I could definitely use some training in jujitsu. But I don't know if I'll be stepping in the octagon anytime soon. Maybe as a ring boy.
yo with the
Hard.
card. Hell
Yeah,
yeah.
with the bull rat baiting suit on.
Yeah. I mean, you know, you do a really good job on TNT too, not just the podcast. Is TV different than the podcast that you do every week?
It's all a little bit different, but what's been fun about the media side is whether it's doing a commercial, whether it's doing television, whether it's doing television in Canada with Hockey Night in Canada or a podcast, it challenges you in different ways, and that's what has been fun. I like to challenge myself and try new things, and I've been very fortunate where I've been able to work with so many amazing people in all those categories. So it's been a heck of a run, man, and I'm just really grateful for it. And it also gets to put me in touch with people like you and interact with a lot of amazing people. So yeah, I appreciate your time, Eric. And
Yeah.
I would yeah, I would definitely say that we've covered quite a bit.
Yeah, absolutely. Maybe Panthers make the playoffs. See you at the elbow room. I appreciate you.
That place, I don't, it's got this camera in there now that they do a live
Yep.
stream.
Yep.
So yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know if I trust the elbow room anymore.
Oh
Cash
no.
too. That's the
Yep.
type of place where I'd get my head kicked in again.
Well, there's cameras at least, so it'd be viral at least if it happens.
Exactly. Eric, you're a
Well,
beauty, buddy.
thank you, big guy. I appreciate you. And yeah, good luck to well, not good luck to Canada. Good luck USA.